Okay. अब देखिए, hello and welcome to this tutorial. Okay. Right. Okay. Hello and welcome to this tutorial on ProICT's MIS. The system has basically been designed for institutes and schools and colleges to make their work a lot easier, and designed to handle all their issues. So to access the system, first of all, you need to launch your browser and type in the URL for the system, and that should basically take us to the dashboard. So for purposes of demonstration, I'm going to use the admin account so that we can see all the functionalities of the system. So that opens up the dashboard of the IMS. The IMS has a number of modules: the student module, teacher, academic center, finance section, library, transport, hostel, and the notice board. So each of these modules have been designed to carry out certain functionalities. The student center basically has the section where all the information about the students are recorded, and it includes student information, registering them, attendance, coursework, exam marks. Some of these functionalities are working and some are going to be added in the future. So we'll look at each and every one of these modules in details. We'll start with, first of all, by looking at the student module. And for that, we'll click on the student management tab. We get a drop down that talks about student information, student attendance, student permission. We'll start with student information. If you click on student information, you can basically add students and you can view the students who are in the system already. So if we click on add student, a form pops up. And this form basically allows us to enter details of the student, their name, email, all the student information that's basically required for the institute. And once you enter this data into the system, you have the option of viewing the students. If you click on view student, for example, that takes us to a list where we can view all the students that are in the system. There is an action button on the side of the screen that will allow you to edit or to delete the record that you're basically working on. And you can continue to add students once you're done, or if you need to, basically takes you back to that form. So that's the student info form. The next thing we want to do is record student attendance. And when you click on student attendance, you can view attendance, take attendance. If you click on view attendance, you basically have another form where you can view or actually take attendance of the students. We have the option of entering in the dates, and we can select the classes that we're basically interested in. If you click on the class there, or let's say second class, essentially, at this point of time, there are no students in the system, but we can view them after the records have been entered. After taking attendance, you can come here and you can click on this button, and you have the option of viewing the attendance of the students depending on what days you're looking at and which class you're looking at. The other function that we can carry out on the student module is student permission. So when you click on student permission, there is a drop down for student permission. If you click on that, we get a form that allows us to enter records of a student that's been given permission, for example, to leave for a day or a week, depending on the requirements. So if we select the class here that the student belongs to, we get a drop down with the list of all the students who are there in the class at the time, and we can decide what kind of permission we'd like to give them, whether it's it's just attendance or it's a study leave. So you can just click on that, and after you decide the kind or the nature of the permission you'd like to give, click on give permission, and the record gets into the database. So you can come here and you can view the permission that's been given to the student, again, depending on the class. And that way you'll be able to see the students and the permissions that they've been given. So we gave Anil Sharma take attendance permission, and that's basically gone into the system. So that's about the student module at the moment. The other thing, the next module that we're going to look at is the teacher management module. In the teacher management module, we're basically going to look at all the information that's related to the teachers. So when you click on teacher info, you can add teachers, you can view teachers. So if you click on add teacher, we get a form that allows us to enter details of the teachers. Once we enter the form and click on add teacher, basically, the record gets into the database, and then you can come here and you can click on this button to view the teachers that are in the system. And so you have a list with an action button on the right-hand side that allows you to edit or to delete a record depending on what you'd like to do. So teacher attendance can be recorded here as well. You can take attendance and then you can view attendance. So if you click on take attendance, basically, this is the section that allows you to give permission to the teachers. I'm sorry, not permission, attendance of the teachers. So you can come here and you can select absent, for example, if Alok Pandey is not in class on that particular day, if he's on leave, and you just do that and then come here down and confirm attendance. And then we can view the attendance status here. So we said Alok Pandey was absent, so Alok Pandey has been designated as absent as a status for his attendance. So at the moment, that's what we can do on the teacher module section. You can enter in teacher details and then you can give them attendance, you can view their attendance, and that handles the teacher module. The next module is the class module. Again, in the class module, you can add a class and you can view the classes. So if you want to come and add a class to the system, you just basically come here and enter the name of the class, its numerical representation, and the teacher. You can select the teacher that's been assigned to that particular class from the drop down, and when you click on add class, you basically have a class. So in the system, if we click on view classes, you'll be able to look at the list in the system where you have your class name, you have its numerical denomination or its numerical value in numbers, and then you have the name of the teacher and you have the action buttons on the side that will allow you to edit whatever you need to in terms of the classes. After the class module, the next module is the subject module. In the subject module, you have classes on one side. Basically, you have a list of all the classes, and once you click on the class, you can then decide, you can then come here and, subject. If I select class first, because this is the class that has some records in it, you come here and you can view the list of subjects. So you have subject here, you have the name of the subject, you have the denomination, the class, the teacher that's been assigned to the class, and the action that you need to carry out. So this basically allows us to allocate subjects to classes and to particular teachers. So that is how you can add a subject to the system, and you can view possibly, okay, if adding a subject gives us this form here where you put in the name of the subject, you put in the class, for example, if you have English, select a class, let's say first, select a teacher, say add, and then we can view and see. Here it is. So that is how you can add a subject. So that's basically the subject module. The next thing that we're going to look at is the accounting module. The accounting module allows us to do a number of things where you can basically look at student information, the fees that they've deposited, invoices if you need to invoice them, expenses that are being carried out. There's an expense category, and also there is a section where you can pay the teachers. So if you look at the student section on the fees, how the system is handled, student fees, you basically have this kind of form that has invoice information on one side and payment forms on another side. So this is where you can enter information on the fees, the students that have paid fees, and you can enter their information here according to their classes, student names, titles, descriptions, and then payment options. The payment options that the students have used to pay their fees can be entered here. Cash method, status, all of that can be decided from here. Paid or unpaid, whether it's cash, whether it's check or card, that can be decided from there. Then once that is done, you can add the invoice. And then if you click on student invoice, you basically have a form that allows you to see the students, the classes that they belong to, the descriptions, how much they've paid, what the total is, the status, whether they've paid or not paid, there's fees, and then you can do the edit and delete from the corner action button there. And that way you can see the student invoices. We'll move on to look at the expense section. When you click on expense, you basically look at the expense list that is currently being carried out by the institute or the organization, where you have the title of the expense, you have the category, you have the method, the amount, the date that it was made on. This is obviously dummy data that we're using just for experimentation and validation of the system. Again, we have an action button in the corner that allows us to edit the expense list. So you can add a new expense if a new expense crops up. That's the pop-up that allows you to add an expense here. You enter in the respective information, click on add expense, and basically you have your record goes into the system, and then you can come here and you can view the expense. And when we're paying teachers, you just click on teacher payment, and you basically have a form that allows you to view the teachers, their total salary, the bank account, whether you've paid them through bank accounts or the method that's been used to pay them, the dates that the payments were made on, and then you have your action button there. And basically this is where you add the teachers that have been paid their salaries in the institute. Then we have the next module, which is the library module that allows you to add books and view books that are in the library. So if you want to keep records of the books that you have in the library, you just click on the add book tab, and you have a form that allows you to enter the relevant information regarding a certain title, a certain book. So you enter that information here, and once you've added all the text boxes, just come here, click on add book, and that sends all the data into the database. And then you can come here and click on view books and see the books that are in your library at the time. So add books, view books, basically that's what the library module handles at the moment. Then we have a transport management module where you can access transport information, you can access driver information. So when you click on transport information, again, you can add a transport, you can view a transport. So if we click on view, this is basically the information that we have, and with regards to the route, the vehicle number. That's where you put in the number plate of the vehicle, the description, the route, and all of that. So if you want to add, for example, you can enter in a route here on which the vehicles in the school are going to, their respective number plates, the description, whether it's a truck or a bus, the fare that's been allocated that particular route. Click on add transport, and then when you come and click on view routes, essentially you come back to the screen here where you can access all the information in one screen. So that's about transport. Records on the drivers can be viewed from here. Just click driver information that allows you to add a driver or view the drivers. So if you click on add a driver, you have a form that basically allows you to add driver information into the system. And then once you're done, click on add driver, and the records go into the database, which you can view by clicking on the view drivers button there. And you'll be able to see the information that with regards to the driver in the system. So that's about the transport module. The next module on the system is the hostel module, which basically allows you to add a hostel or view a hostel. If we click on add hostel, this is where you can add the hostel information in your institute or your school. So you have a name, text box, you have a number of rooms that exist in the hostel, and you have a description. So basically all your hostel information goes in here, and eventually we will be able to do room allocation as well. So you come here, click on view hostel, and you'll get a form that allows you to view the hostels, the number of rooms, their description, and of course an action button at the corner. So that's about how that's about the student module. I mean, that's about the hostel module. The next thing for us to look at is the notice board module, which has a list of notices. Whatever you want to highlight for a particular day or a particular event can be added on the notice board. So just click on notice board, and you have, add a notice that you want to put up, and you have a form where you have a title for the notice, and you have a description box where you can talk about, basically you just add the notice, and you can come here and select who you want to view the notice, whether it's the teacher, the student, or the entire class. Put a date, enter the date here. You can select a date, and then just come at the end of it and click on add notice. So when you click on view notice, again, we have some dummy data that you can view on the notice list. It looks like that, where you have a title, you have the notice, who the notice is for, the dates for the respective notices, and the actions that can be carried out are again in the right-hand corner. So that module handles notice. The last module is the message section, where we'll be able to send messages to who would like to. It's capable of doing mass messaging. So you just come here and type the message that you want to send out. Come here and select who you want to send the message to, teachers. And when you click on send message, it will essentially, once the module is active, it'll be able to send the messages to all the teachers who are registered on the system and who have access to the system through the mobile component. And once we click on send, that specific message goes out to all the teachers who are connected to the system at the time. There is the account module, which we're working on, is under construction at the moment. But the things that we can do in the account module are there's documentation, payment information that can be viewed and entered, the active modules, and of course, contact us in case you need to. So that's a brief overview of what the IMS does. Take you back to the dashboard. And for any questions, you can always ask our representatives in the field. We'll be happy to give you whatever help you're looking for. Thank you.